Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and thank you for waiting. My name is Marina. I'm from Crypto.com, and you are joining us for another live video AMA. Today, we will be joined by Sunny Liu, who's the CEO and co-founder of VeChain Foundation. VeChain Foundation is the nonprofit organization behind the development of VeChain Thor, which is the leading smart contract blockchain platform for real-world adoption. It's designed to enhance supply chain management and business processes. VeChain aims to streamline these processes and information flow for complex supply chains by leveraging the capabilities of trustless data, smart contracts, and IoT technologies. VeChain Thor has delivered solutions in a wide array of fields, and now it's turning its attention to arguably the greatest challenge of all, delivering sustainability at global scale. Very excited to welcome Sunny Liu, who will answer your questions today. Welcome to the show, Sunny.
Hi, everyone. I guess I'm very regular to the Crypto.com AMA. It has been like 3 or 4 times. I don't even keep the records, but very nice to meet you, Marina. Let's have some fun today.
Yes, thank you so much. As you said, yeah, maybe one of the most frequent guests. You're a fan favorite, and we're happy to have you. Thank you again to the community for submitting questions. We posted on Twitter about a week ago, and we received quite a few responses from the community. So let's get into as many as we can get. And thank you to VeChain for supplying some prizes who will be going out to those who are selected. So let's get into it. For those who didn't see any of the past AMAs or maybe aren't familiar with VeChain, could you give us an introduction to yourself and a bit about VeChain? Oh, no, I think Sunny.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sunny, CEO and co-founder of VeChain. I started VeChain team. Actually, before that, I was of Louis Vuitton China, and people usually ask me, people living selling the bags, eventually end up in this cutting blockchain technology stuff. My job was CIO, Chief Information Officer, basically the bridge between the technology and the solution, and technologies as well. So, I recognize the power of public blockchain since 2012 and 13. And, during the working in the Louis Vuitton, I see the inefficiencies, how supply chain were organized, and the general lack of transparency when it comes to data, suppliers, and other aspects of common business practices. Because the normal business getting to more and more globally collaborative, let's say. And back to 2014 and 15, Ethereum had recently being launched. The power of smart contracts really captured me. That's what inspired me to see how could I use this technology to build solutions for the business problems I saw in the world around my daily work. And at that time, Ethereum also lacked some ability to what we need. So I began a mission to build an expert team and launched a blockchain of our own. So we start off with a mission of tackling various real business challenges, starting from low-hanging fruits, like with luxury brands. But VeChain has since grown into something far bigger. Lots of developments has been done in the past few years.
When you made that jump from Louis Vuitton to Web3, did any of your colleagues ask you what you were thinking, or what was that like when you jumped into Web3?
Oh yeah, I mean, many people call me crazy, especially that was in 2015. I spent a whole year from the beginning of 2015 until the November. I remember, like that was my last day in Louis Vuitton. Especially my family, like you quit this kind of to through into some nobody even understand what you're talking about. But that was a fun part, looking back for the last, it was quite a journey. Really exciting.
I bet. All right, let's get into some of these questions here. Okay, can you give us a quick elevator pitch for the project?
Sure. Okay, so VeChain Soul is a powerful EVM-based smart contract platform, first of all, but specifically to break down barriers to real-world applications or real-world adoptions. Before we launched, actually, we organized many leading enterprises like PwC, DNV, even including Louis Vuitton. We're talking to those executives, work to find out the problems to tackle or the barriers for people think about how to use the blockchain. So things like scalability, cost, and generally making blockchain technology real world friendly was a common challenges, which actually we identify and also devote ourselves to solve with things like free delegation, multi-payment protocols. It actually removes the need of user to pay their own transaction fees, or just as an example. So VeChain we launched in 2017, and the mainnet was launched in 2018. That actually was the first upgrades. The we start with the consortium blockchain solutions for different enterprises, but in 2017 we find out the consortium blockchain does not really go anywhere, and we decide to go to the to join the dark forest to go for the public blockchain. That was our first major upgrades. And after that, we spent years to build like hundreds different applications for different enterprises in different sectors. And since last year, we are working on the next upgrade, major upgrade. We call it second stage. We specify the value we wanted to create by the blockchain technology to go sustainability. It's lots I've been talking about, but for the past couple of years, we're building up the different POC cases, learning the experiences, and prove it is really something we should do. And especially in the last few months, we have been really working on that and try to deliver a new white paper, should be released early next year. It's gonna demonstrate, it's gonna let's say make a statement about our understanding about sustainability narrative and how blockchain and crypto technology can support the sustainability implementations. We can go there like later on, but that's a elevator pitch.
Yes, we'll definitely touch on those topics a little bit later. What would you say then is VeChain's unique selling point?
Well, I think VeChain has been quite unique in the crypto space. We're starting quite earlier, 2017, and even some of people will call me or call VeChain as a dinosaur coin per se. I think we have been surviving through this market a couple of circles, and to be honest, considering what's happening right now in the crypto space, it's really a survivor's game. I have been sending the emails to my team to cheer them up, like, okay, don't be impacted by whatever happened in the crypto space, but it's a survival's game. Just get to survive. And one of the unique part for VeChain, I think it's very important, is we have been insisting the vision we have been built, which is transforming the technology to the real business value. Even though right now we are upgrading to be more specified the business value to be sustainable value, but it never changed. We have been working on this part and try everything we could to adopt the blockchain technology to the real business, to the real world. We believe everyone in the world will enjoy the benefits of the blockchain technology, like internet today, with or without awareness of using it.
That leads really well to my next question. So, what are some examples of these benefits that everyday users will see from this project?
Well, actually, a lot, I would say. We built many things in the past, tackle different, let's say, industries, like food safety for with Walmart China, EV management for BYD with DMV, and also lots of, let's say, in the luxury business for track and trace, wine industries, as a My Story products from the DMV as well. So basically, from the past, we would say everything you could use it, or every daily activity you could carry on a daily basis, you could enjoy the benefits of the blockchain. Imagine you're driving an EV car to the work, and actually the car computer are calculating how much carbon emission you could save. Once you arrive the office, you get to the notification like, okay, you're contributing how much to the to the carbon emission reduction. And when you walk to the shop, you can pick up a luxury bag, or some nice garment, but with recycled material. Actually, it's leading to led to a use case we have done with H&M for the recycled material. So you could enjoy many things on the daily basis. And specifically, right now we're going to the sustainability area. Just try to explore a little bit. We believe, the key point, or the critical element which is missing from the sustainability in the past few decades in the world, is about how to involve daily users, how to involve the normal people to do the personal impacts to support sustainability on a daily basis. And for sure, the challenge will be, how do you verify and how do you gather the personal impacts? And the answer is about blockchain and crypto. So if we're able to, digitalize some of the daily activities and verify that by the blockchain technology in time, and incentivize, motivate individuals to, to do more personal impacts by your daily activity to support sustainability, then all of the impacts around the whole world gather together will generate much greater impacts to really be sustainable. So I think this is like what blockchain and crypto can do and has to do to, let's say, to create the real business value.
Very exciting. I know everybody wants to know how they can make a difference, but being able to really quantify it and see it on the phone in front of you, I think will be much more effective to getting to mobilize people. Very cool. I want to stick on this subject of sustainability for a moment. You mentioned the BYD partnership that you had, which I think you spoke about on the last AMA with us. You were talking about the carbon credits. And between now and then, there have been many updates. I want to talk about the POA 2.0 upgrade, which you guys are calling the blockchain of the digital sustainable revolution. Can you tell us a little bit about POA 2.0?
Yeah, actually, POA 2.0, we have been working for many years. Even people consider like it has been delayed for a couple of, actually it was not delayed, but it just really take lots of effort. POA is, let's say, POA 2.0 is the fundamental of the blockchain itself as a consensus part. And, guarantee, what is the unique feature we are building from the POA 2.0 is about finality of the block. And guaranteeing finalization is an additional mechanism that doesn't really affect the current confirmation system of VeChain or consensus mechanism of the VeChain, but the block times remain the same as before. The token transfer can still be confirmed after 12 blocks, for example. Um, but the recent POA 2.0, it really just adds a new layer that ensures the data quality. The transaction will first be confirmed by the Nakamoto consensus and then finalized by gadget we call finality with 1 bit, so short for FOB. Once the process is done, there is zero possibility that the transaction could be reverted as long as the finality security assumption holds. The factor is absolutely essential when it comes to real world adoption, with data protection being a core consideration of a real world adoption. Especially in Europe, we're talking when we talk about GDPR, that kind of stuff as privacy protection and the others. So POA 2.0 is very essential, especially to when we are going to the sustainability as our next strategy. It's considered as the one of the core infrastructure we have to guarantee, we have to build before we go to much bigger scalability for the sustainability adoptions.
Got it. We have a question from a Twitter user here about
Mhm.
VCarbon. VCarbon was launched recently. Can you share with
Ah,
us how it helps businesses or countries hit carbon neutrality?
yeah. So VCarbon is, let's say, an independent team running majorly right now in the China mainland. VeChain, we provide the technology support and also the initializing investment to that. Um, so VCarbon is basically building up a SaaS platform to a blockchain-powered SaaS platform for carbon accounting and carbon auditing for different enterprises in the different industries. So get to know your carbon emission is the first step, towards carbon neutrality. Actually, the reason we choose the China as a main market as a starting point, is, China has a national policy to support we call carbon targets like 30-60. By 2030, China wants to reach the carbon emission summit, and 2060, the whole country wants to achieve the carbon neutrality. So enterprise and factories, let's say, or different entities are can easily track and manage carbon emission using that kind of SaaS software platform. Find out which department or manufacturing process or any kind of supply chain process has the most emissions, and work with our expert team. The expert team from VCarbon to achieve carbon emission reduction implementing some of the improvement solutions. So given a small example, one of the use case we have been working with Schneider, they have smart appliances and in the home. So basically, they're doing the similar things. The smart appliances could capture the activity, like the daily lights, the heater, air condition, all of the consumptions, and processing, the data, and could be going to this SaaS platform to tell each home or each apartment or each house, like what kind of the new settings or new configurations you could configure based on, you may only stay a couple hours before you go to sleep. You stay most of the time in the office, something like that. And then could really save the energy consumption. This is just one of the example, but also when we talk about, let's say, some manufacturing process, making beer or making some plastic materials, that could link to quite complicated processes or quite complicated setup. So we need the experts in this industry, in this area, try to work with the client, work with enterprise very closely, and build up the formula, like calculation formula, and also to identify the most of the auditing points from data point of view, and then setting up the smart contract, by this SaaS platform, And then after that, there will be automatic needs to be changed, or we have a better, improvements in the entire process. Then you can upgrade it. So it's a gradual process, I would say, and also it's not only for China. We just start VCarbon just start from China, but it's going to be a huge global challenge. So we have started with individual factories and some business as well, working on the way up to calculate supply chain emissions, and eventually doing so on the national level. I hope we have run a variety of POCs, including with well-known global beverage brands. But that I will leave that to the VCarbon announcement or VCarbon, events. So yeah, so I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited about that. Lots of things to do.
Very exciting, and it seems like it touches many industries and different sectors. Can you tell us a little bit about the partnerships that VeChain has, or any new ones that you can maybe hint about?
That question is always a really hard one. um, I would love able to, let's say, discuss the projects and partners we have been working at the moment. But for example, let's say during our recent time in Torino, Italy, for the Ninto ATP finals, we met almost like 200 guests. That's a very good example. I even share with the crypto team as well about the experiences and also the returns. So we try to make this kind of let's say sports sponsorship really meaningful and valuable, and that's what we did. In the 8 days, we host like 200 different guests, from business, educational institutions like universities, investors, fund managers, enterprises for sure, even governments. But everyone, we're talking about same topic, is how you think about sustainability and how you think the blockchain and crypto can support sustainability. So we bring our ideas and we bring our initiatives, and the good thing is, out of those almost 200 guests, we receive like zero non-interest, or I don't want to talk about this kind of thing. So everyone is very exciting about that, and actually most of them are chasing after us right now, like, okay, what about a call next week? What about we set up a meeting somewhere? So many of those are promising project leads per se, but I mean, for sure, we cannot discuss any of these yet. Similar actually with the UFC as well. With these kind of events, open many doors to new clients, new use cases, and create abundant networking opportunities. Especially about the sustainability we wanted to go for. It's not just building up the case by case. It's actually building up, sustainability ecosystem. So usually requires or involves multiple different stakeholders or players or contributors, along with the individuals as well. So we can talk about that later, but currently we're working with a very large global organization with a very strong presence. We're working with two teams of them. One is sustainability team in Milan. Another is the crypto and the blockchain technology team from Dallas, who is helping us define and build, let's say, incentivized sustainability ecosystem across a variety of industries, and helping us develop a new white paper coming early 2023. I'm personally very excited about that, as they are playing a very important role in driving our sustainability objects forward. There are some large, for sure, we have been identifying dozens of type of utility and sustainability use cases or ecosystem we want to build based on the people we met, in the past, not only Torino, but also in the past couple of years. And also the POC cases we have done, with like the Sea ocean cleanup. So we're going to tackle like 2 or 3 sustainability ecosystems as the low-hanging fruits, but not going to limit it there. we're gonna replicate and starting, one by one. So it will be, let's say, I don't know, maybe 10 or even 15 years of work ahead, getting bit by bit and review bit by bit for sure.
Very exciting and promising to hear that there's so many people interested in the blockchain. That leads me actually to my next question from a Twitter user, Thomas EE. He
Yeah.
asks, traditional businesses might not understand blockchain technology and how it can help their business. Do you ever encounter that issue, having to explain it to people?
Sure. I mean, it reminds me our first case with Givenchy, back to 2016, even before the public blockchain platform was launched. Um, I came from Louis Vuitton as the fashion industry, and I used my personal connections to try to get some low-hanging fruits for sure when we try to build business applications. So in 2016, I traveled to Paris. I met my very good friend and also my mentor, helped me a lot, Philip Fortunato. He was the global CEO of Givenchy. And, for sure, I used my personal connection, knocked the door of his office. I tried to get 30 minutes. And I spent the first 20 minutes to explain to him, like, what blockchain is, what blockchain can do, how exciting about that, everything. It was in 2016, remember that. And then Philip shut me up, like saying, "Okay, I don't understand what you have been saying, in the last 20 minutes, but just tell me what to do." So it was a little bit embarrassing, but I'm so lucky to have good friend and also mentor like Philip, and also dare to explore this technology, this innovation. He trusts me, and also eventually he leading to trusting this technology. But the good thing is, after the POC 2016, and we are start to explore many cases and cover more products in terms of the whole across the entire supply chain process of Givenchy globally. And by 2019, we even cover 100% of leather goods for them, to help them, to have a better, more transparent supply chain management across multiple different stakeholders. So this is a really tough process, I have to admit. But I would say right now it's getting bigger, but better and better, because after years of crypto market and blockchain technology has been developing in the entire market, entire global space per se. More and more people start to understand the blockchain technology. They have been drawing attention to this market, and we don't need to spend more, let's say, dedicated time to discuss about what is a consensus, what is the difference of POW, POS, and POA, or even talking about some blocking time. Not anymore. We just go directly into the business cases. But the biggest challenge, I would say, is about how to adopt the technology into the business per se. Um, but that's our strength. Like I mentioned, before I start VeChain, I was a CIO. So that was basically building up the bridge between technology and the business solutions. So you got to have a two, let's say, senses of two sides. You got to understand the blockchain technology, and you got bear in mind all of the unique features or fundamental core, disruptive features of the blockchain. But also you got to understand the business processes, and you got to match them to both. You got to marry them. Try to figure out what the good thing you can do with this technology. So for VeChain, what we are quite unique as well, we have a great partner like PwC, DNV, Deloitte in the past. Basically, we're kind of acting as a joint face, go to the market together. We have a business side, have industry know-how, and then we have technical side, with understanding, deep understanding the blockchain technology, and then we merge them together, go to the different enterprise for different use cases. So that's a trick.
Very exciting. I think it's interesting how the mass audience, we see that Givenchy did an NFT collection or something, and we think that's their first kind of foray into Web3. But behind the scenes, they've been using Web3 technology for years in their business. So I think that's really fascinating. Leads me to my next question, again from a Twitter user, Keytour02, asking about how you guys customize solutions for these customers. And was there any integration done with other ERP systems prior?
Yeah, I mean, we have actually we do have a bunch of, let's say, players or let's say community projects as well. But majorly when we started, we have so-called VeChain technology as a global company. It's actually builds enterprise blockchain solution using the VeChain blockchain technologies. We built a BaaS platform called VeChain 2Chain, which is actually not really stranger to the market. I've been doing this for years, which is a highly customizable based on the user's level of capability and needs. They can customize as they see fit or take a more basic version and track whatever kinds of metrics they need using the proprietary of IoT chips and applications. So that the technology can even be white labeled, let's say, meaning clients can take the software, repackage it with own branding and offer as part of the ERP. For example, DMV offers various blockchain solution built on VeChain 2Chain, branded as a DMV by running our technology like My Story, even the green passport we did with San Marino for the vaccination proof. And also PwC done the similar things with the AirTrace platform. So they build the application with the industry know-how, even some custom industrial specifics based on the 2Chain, so they can build the AirTrace platform. And also there are many other examples like Orion One, TrueTrace, the two US entrepreneurs, they have added VeChain 2 SOAR to the ERP system as well. Not mentioning about, we also exploring this with the Salesforce in Singapore as well. So it's I would say it's a quite a typical approach to mass adoption. Like I mentioned for the last question, you may have better understanding of the technology, but you definitely need the business, mindsets or business or industry know-how, to fit the technology into the right position of the business cases. Then you can create the value out of this technology. So that's what we do.
Yeah, sounds good. Moving on, this is a question I had myself as well. Twitter user PandaLuku66. Some enterprises might not want to reveal certain sensitive data on the public blockchain. How is enterprise privacy protected?
Okay, so that's a common mistaking, let's say, thinking is the public blockchain equals to public data, but actually it's not the case. Firstly, you can choose, only upload a hash of the data of the blockchain for the proof, like proof of existence. It cannot be reversely passed back to the, let's say, original information through the visible thing. So in this way, the client-sensitive data remains public environment, but only can be at the same time can be proved by the validators or by anyone who wants to check or double confirm, its integrity of this data. So we have been using our technology for, let's say, medical use cases, such as 2 hospitals in Cyprus and also 1 hospital in Shanghai, with the full data protection expectations. So actually, one of the case I just mentioned is about green passport for vaccination for San Marino, which is a total good, perfect example about that. So basically, you can prove you are vaccinated or you are prove, you are you with this passport without disclosing any kind of the data. So it's perfectly full GDPR compliance in Europe. That's That's a very good example, actually. We could replicate these kind of cases. Not, I know the COVID is gone now, but we could use in some other way to let's say build some real use case, but also we don't need to worry about the private data protection at all. And plus, we also our research team also keep a very close eyes about zero knowledge proof, that kind of technology as well. Uh, for example, we had a VeChain fellowship with Stanford computer science department, actually leading by Dan Bernay. He is a top-notch professor focused on zero knowledge proof, that kind of technology as well. Actually, he showed up in our last summit in 2019 in San Francisco to demonstrate some of our co-work. But yeah, we also keep very close on zero knowledge proof, that kind of a privacy protection. If, let's say, needed, so far we don't see the real case we might need that in the real world adoption, even sustainability. But if we need it in the future, definitely we can go full speed on that kind of direction as well.
Amazing. I want to shift topics now to tokenomics or tokens. We know that VeChain has two main tokens, VET and VTHO. We've got a question from Twitter user Rory Khan. Can you share how VET is used to transfer value across VeChain's network? How is it different from using VTHO as gas to power smart contract transactions?
Sure. The two token model is key part of how we keep the cost to use our network. As you know, VET used to transfer value, while in summary, very short summary, VET is used to transfer value while VSOL pays for transaction fees. So on VeChain Soar, VET is designated to accrue value from transactions over time as VET produces VSOR, and user needs to buy and burn VSOR to use the network, simply say. So, over time, why with growing adoption, the value of VET should grow. It's just a simple demands, because each unit can service an increasing amount of transaction, giving the utility base of value. As such, it is the most appropriate unit to settle on-chain transactions because it is designed to store the value of on-chain activity. Let's put it this way. And the VSOL mode was designed to have, let's say, adjustable parameters. And so it is not a good store value, but it is constantly generated by VET and has no fixed supply, preventing a liquidity crisis, in a scenario there was no little in the market. There was no too little in the market. This makes it a less ideal store value of the network. However, this gives it to other desirable qualities when it comes to maintain the cost stability of using the network. It's actually coming from the let's say the typical dilemma or the typical paradox when we think about the public blockchain. Even starting, we actually has this kind of debate in 2017 when we started. Usually the let's say the cost of using the blockchain is linked to the token value directly, right? Like when you use Ethereum for the token, but you also need to use Ethereum to pay the gas. But the typical paradox is, if more demands to use your network, there will be higher price of the native token, but also means your transaction cost could be much higher. So, this kind of setup kind of creating the paradox. And we saw in the past a few times, sometimes, especially for some ignorance friend or new user of the blockchain could pay $100 or $1,000 for the gas fees without even aware of that, just because of the network congestions. So our two token system design is actually tackle this kind of issue.
Okay, and we also understand that you guys have launched VeChain's own stablecoin, VUSD. Can you shed some light on the backing of this token and then how it's used within the VeChain system?
Yeah, so VUSD is a US dollar packed stablecoin, fully backed and redeemable for USD at 1-to-1 ratio. It is first a stablecoin native to the VeChain blockchain because we see the rising demands created by the Stably, a US-based asset tokenization infrastructure provider with very strict compliance with the US regulatory authorities, as well as international ones. So it's a quite good team. I actually met them in Washington, in Washington there. Sorry, Seattle actually. They are a quite good team, and also they are quite a global as well. I know recently they are building, let's say, a developer team in Vietnam. We also, so it's quite good team, and we work from there. We can see the rising demands, specifically from U.S. markets, not only from enterprise level, but also from community users, community projects in the future. And on top of that, we always believe, the blockchain mass adoption is dependent on compliance as well. Even considering about the transition period, but we need to go to the real world, so we need to take care about compliance. So, they were a good fit for our needs. The Stably platform offers many benefits, actually, including the ability to quickly and easily mint or burn the stablecoin. So after creating an account on Stably Prime, the user can swiftly deposit and withdraw USD with VUSD. So it's simply as it.
Nice. Sounds, I'm actually from Seattle, so cool to hear that you guys have some connection there. Moving on, you touched on this. I know you answered it, but I just want to flash the question on screen. We're going to touch on tech. We have a question from Twitter user NFT Living Life about POA 2.0. And the question is about, will block times be slower due to the increased workload of nodes? What improvements
No,
are
not
made with
really.
this new upgrade?
Yeah, no, the answer is simply no. It's the same as before, but the block finality, we call it, FOB, is just a gadget to make sure that the data cannot be reversed or the blockchain cannot be reversed. Actually, the whole idea is coming from the famous event. I'm not sure if most of the users right now are familiar with. But MakerDAO got hacked, back to a few years ago, and Ethereum had that kind of, reversed action, creating the fork like ETH and ETC today. So we try to use. I mean, I have been talking to my engineers team to see about like how we can make sure we're not able to experience this, to make sure the guarantee the let's say the decentralized and the data immutability about the blockchain data, and then it comes from there. So it's just make sure the data cannot be reversed, cannot be changed, but the block time and everything is still the same.
Nice. Yeah, as unfortunate as some of these incidents are, it's a good chance to learn from them and
Of course.
make sure that,
Yeah.
your own project doesn't have the same fate. Okay, moving on. Another question from Twitter user at CapCosmos. Currently, VeChain is able to handle 10,000 transactions per second. Does VeChain have plans to increase the TPS, or is it scalable with some upgrades?
Well, so far it's not in the priority. I would say more in the, let's say, research topic, leading by our professor Peter Joe. They always, the future, let's say, possible utilities or demands coming from the use cases. But so far, not in our priority, because we see, actually, I know there's some projects bragging about, like we have a million transaction TPS or million TPS or even more than that. But we really need to have, let's say, the use case first, have the mass adoption, when the demands coming from the business, that will drives more and strong, to the technical development. So far, let's say we focus on more building up the infrastructure tools and services, along with the POA 2.0. That was the major upgrade in terms of the consensus, in terms of the blockchain core part. But after that, we're supposed to focus on the tools and services to drive the mass adoptions to support the future sustainability ecosystem applications.
Sounds very rational. Moving on, another question from the community at MaxXCloud. What was the rationale for choosing Solidity as the programming language for developing smart contracts? Will there be support for other languages as well?
Well, so actually we start from, everything idea of VeChain starts a conversation with Vitalik back to 2015, I think, 14 or 15. Yeah, 15. When Ethereum started, actually one of my mentors, another good friend, Shenbo, as a head of Fenbushi Capital, brought Vitalik to China market, meeting with the people, meeting with the community of Bitcoin at that time. So I was lucky to have some of the conversations with Vitalik, when we were visiting some other cities as well. Like we brought Vitalik to see Panda in Chengdu. So we had a bunch of discussions about what Ethereum can do, what Ethereum cannot do, or what is the challenges. So the idea is coming from there. And so, that's quite a natural. We selected Solidity. And actually right now, I would say it's still a good choice because Solidity still have a big base of developers. When we are working with other, partners or the community teams, it seems like quite a solid choice. And also recently we are setting up the technical center in Dublin. Just in the last 2-3 months, we already got 20-ish to 30 technical developers. So Solidity is very popular language for the development communities. So, so far we are, again, in terms of the technical or technology developments, it's like a two. People have to work with the two legs. One with the technology advancement, one with use case mass adoptions. So once we made a move on the technical side, we made another move on the business side, or few moves on the business side to drive back the demands to the technology. So far, we're again, the R&D team also, evaluating, analyzing the different language. I know there was a language about the so-called Moon, right? Move. It's a little bit focused on the DeFi protocols, but so far, we don't have that kind of the plan.
All right. And now I want to shift topics to kind of looking at the future. What are you building next?
Well, sustainability. That's what we're focused on. Actually, we identify ourselves 4 different stages. Generally speaking, that's the first. It's initialization that actually starting from 2017, and we built our blockchain platform, launched in 2018, and now we are more like in, let's say, before also with the testing cases. Like I mentioned, we built hundreds of cases in the different scenarios, and then we are going to that kind of the communication, the scalability cases, specify on the sustainability scenarios. It's actually, I believe this is a future, also merging the Web3 world and also the traditional world or the real world. We can talk about Web3 a little bit later, but we believe, the Web3 is, you gotta make the mission for everyone. You gotta, let's say, keep motivate the normal people can contribute. And like I said, blockchain and crypto is the perfect case, is a perfect answer for this kind of the challenges to generate to let's say to integrate the personal or converge the personal impacts to be the greater impacts to keep sustainability moving forward. And also, we have our strengths is we have great partner, also great team member who are focused on sustainability for 30 years. They have been struggling honestly in this territory. When we think about sustainability, most of the time we can see the big guys, the big corporations doing the promotions, calling for actions in the big stages. But when we think about the implementations or the driving to people's daily life, it's very hard. And our ideas and our technology readiness kind of excite them. They decided to quit their previous job and join us and focus on that part. So now we're kind of having a both sets pretty well. So we got to go full speed on sustainability areas, and we have a two perspective. We gotta go. One side is how we make ourselves sustainable. Not only about the blockchain platform is going to be, let's say, sustainable, zero emission, but also our internal operations governance needs to be sustainable as well. On the other part, we're going to build up sustainability ecosystems, drive the case adoption with the sustainable value to be created, motivate and involve and motivate individuals, normal people on a daily life. So that's definitely where we're focused on, Ryan.
Well, that's very inspiring, and I'm sure a lot of people watching are also inspired. For people who want to get involved at any level, what would you recommend they do?
Sorry, what kind of normal people or
If
like?
yeah, for those who are interested, maybe yeah, normal people, let's say, getting involved with VeChain.
Well, follow the social medias and come to the great AMA like we're doing with crypto.com. you know, um, the social media, we have VeChain Foundation Twitter accounts. We are very active on Twitter. And also we have a Medium as articles to sharing. So yeah, just, well, I mean, right now, we're already on the later stage of internet. When you Googled up everything, you will find out most of the information very handy.
Nice. Well, we've actually reached the end of the questions, but I will give you, Sunny, another opportunity. Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience or leave us with any final message?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's one of the key learnings recently. Well, two actually. So I want to share some reflections to people. One is about the Web3. People are talking about the Web3 a lot. And actually, firstly, technically, it's a combination of concept or gadgets, coming from the crypto space for a long time. Tokens, NFTs, blockchain technology, and also the mindset for sure. But looking back the history, I would say, it's very interesting to see the Web3 as a new concept. Actually, there is a new fundamental meanings of that, but most of people may not really see it. So let's see, if you think about a Web 1 user, it's more like a first generation of the internet user. The users are quite passive. You basically receive the contents from the website, and you care about the connectivity. So the connectivity was the first priority, right? So the successful companies or platforms are actually hardware manufacturers like Cisco, IBM, or ISPs. They're building up the connections for people. So that's about the Web 1. And when we moving forward to Web 2 user, you find out, the mobility becomes the most priority for the users. And user wants to not only want to connect to the internet, but also they want to connect anytime, anywhere. So the mobility is the priority, and the screen moving from a computer screen to mobile phone to TV to even the magic glass. So the users are more interactive because they're able to connect anytime, anywhere they want, right? And the Web3, I think it's more, it's another giant leap to the whole industry, because I believe the Web3 users more should be more respective. So you don't treat your users as a normal user of your platform, but you know, you consider user also as your partner. Whatever you believe, you got to make sure you find the right user to believe as well. So, for example, when we talk about sustainability, this is not only my belief or my team's belief, should be everyone's belief. Everyone should do something to keep the our developments more sustainable, not only for yourself but also for your kids, for next generations. So this kind of the consensus or the passion, it should be everyone's job. Everyone is the owner, and everyone is responsible for that. So everyone should fight for that. It's a common goal. So that's about a Web3 user, right? So I would say I'm considering everyone, even including the normal people. Let's say maybe they still worry about, let's say, next meal or next month of rent, whatever. And if we're able to find a way to motivate them, to incentivize them to do the personal impacts, to do the good, they can be the sustainability fighters as well. So we have the answer. Now we're just building up the infrastructure, building up the service, to make it to happen. So we're going to launch quite a big communication campaigns, starting from early next year after our new white paper released, and people will see our narrative and could easily just join us. So I would say the Web3 key part is we got to make sure the user as a priority, not the technology, not the product or services, but to the user. Whatever you do, consider user as a priority, and then you build up something. You offer the platform, you offer the tools, the services to connect everyone, to enable everyone to do their own work on fighting on their own goal. I think that's a core part of Web3 I want to share with everyone. So everyone wants to throw yourself into the Web3 world, better think that way. That's my sharing.
Well, thank you so much for that. What a great way to end. I feel very inspired personally. Yeah, so thank you again for everybody watching and for submitting questions as always. Thank you, Sunny, for joining us today. You can find Sunny on Twitter at SunshineLou24. You can follow VeChain at VeChain Official. Head to their website to see all of their other platforms. And make sure to follow Crypto.com to keep updated with the latest news, events, contests, and more. And yeah, you can find us at Crypto.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining.